Good evening and welcome to the February 23rd meeting of the Mount Vernon Board of Education. Mr. McCormick, would you please call the roll?
Yes, good evening, everybody. Trustee Red.
Present.
Trustee Turnquist.
Present.
Trustee Crump. Trustee Mitchell.
Present.
Trustee Patterson.
Present.
Trustee McOwen. Trustee White.
Present.
Trustee Saunders.
Present.
Trustee Miller.
Present.
Quorum is present, ma'am.
Okey doke. Do we have any communications from the public this evening?
There are no communications this evening.
Okay. Reports of the superintendent?
Yes, I do have a report this evening, Madam President. Good evening, all.
Good evening.
I have a couple of things I'd like to share with you. Firstly, I have appointed an ad hoc reopening committee to begin working on bringing all students back to in-person instruction on a phased approach. The committee will begin its work immediately, and we will be presenting a plan to the board at the next meeting. Our goal is to begin to put parameters in place that would aid in helping to reduce any anxiety or trepidation parents may have relative to sending their students back to school. And to that end, we will be hosting a community forum on March 2nd at 6:30. This will be a virtual community forum, and we have some of the best and brightest experts joining this panel discussion, where we will have conversations about the pros and cons of reopening schools for full in-person instruction, proven safety procedures, and all things COVID. And this panel, I have to say, is an impressive group of people. And I think we have to begin to accept the fact that schools may look very differently moving forward as a result of COVID and our level of awareness about how to keep kids and staff members safe. But we feel we must get students back in school as safely as possible and encourage vaccinations and increase COVID surveillance testing. The panel will include Dr. Ada Wong, who is the Deputy Commissioner of Disease Control from the Westchester County Department of Health, Dr. Dial Duet, who is the Infectious Disease Specialist for Westchester County Department of Health, and Dr. Richard Lynch, who is the district's environmental expert. So these three folks have agreed to participate in a panel discussion where we can really ask open questions about the safety of returning kids to school, about data relative to infection among students in our area, about the use of partitions in the classroom, 3 feet versus 6 feet. So we'll have this open discussion that will also inform some of the work of this ad hoc committee that I've put together. We will engage the unions in this conversation as well, so that we will have representation from the various constituents to make sure that all voices and concerns are being heard and get us all on the same page in terms of getting things back to open. As spring approaches, we have to begin to anticipate that with the vaccination taking root here in our community, I have some information to share with you about that as well. We have to start ripping the Band-Aid off and getting kids back in school, but we will do it safely. Not at all suggesting we should just start telling kids come on back, but we do need to look at protocols that are effective and new guidance that is out. Some of the guidance has been released by the CDC, but has not yet been accepted by New York State or the county. But they usually do adopt those recommendations shortly thereafter. They haven't done that yet, but this conversation on March 2nd will prove to be very useful in guiding our conversations and discussions. So that forum is on March 2nd at 6:30 p.m. It will be done by way of a webinar. So we will have broad distribution and advertise this meeting so that everybody will be able to hear firsthand from these experts.
Will there be
about some
Q&A,
questions.
Dr. Hamilton?
There will be a Q&A. We will moderate that so that we get the full effect of and use of their time.
Great.
But yes, we will have a Q&A session. And to that end, I literally, tonight, I was a part of a conference call with Senate Majority Leader and Cousins. And there is going to be a community vaccination effort underway. And I need people to really, really hear me on this. The National Guard's Armory will begin taking appointments tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. for people who live in Yonkers and the following Mount Vernon zip codes: 10553, 10550, and 10552. That's 10553, 10550, and 10552, which is most of Mount Vernon, frankly. Right. This mass site will begin on March 3rd. So Mount Vernon and Yonker residents will have access before it's made available to the public. But they will start taking calls tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. if you're interested in getting the vaccine. Now, you must reside in Mount Vernon, these 3 zip codes, or Yonkers. I tried to push them to get them to allow teachers who may work in Mount Vernon but live someplace else. And because this is done by FEMA, they were not able to make that concession for us. But for those teachers who live and work in our community in one of these 3 zip codes, and certainly for our residents who are interested in being vaccinated, this is a unique opportunity. I will share this number with you. We will also put it on the website immediately following tonight's meeting. The phone number is 833-697-4829, 833-697-4829. So please start making your calls if you are interested in getting the vaccination. There is opportunity available for you.
May I ask a question?
Surely.
Is there, what are the restrictions besides your geography? Is there an age cutoff?
There is not.
Wow.
This is designed specifically for communities that have been underrepresented in the vaccination process.
That's fantastic. Okay.
So they did not talk about any prerequisites other than your zip code.
Great.
All right.
That's fantastic.
We are also having an amazing district workshop this week in conjunction with the Office of School Improvement. We are excited about offering our staff the chance to engage in an interactive panel discussion during Black History Month, which will be tomorrow from 1 to 2. We have been fortunate enough to have the incredible Susan Taylor, who I spent almost an hour on the phone with last night. She is a best-selling author, the editor of 8 other books, 4th generation entrepreneur. She has so much to offer. She will be joining this panel discussion along with Lauren Lake, Judge Lauren Lake. Lauren Lake is an attorney, an author, a television personality. She's currently on a TV show right now that's called Lauren Lake's Paternity DNA Results Court. But we have these 2 incredible women of color closing out Black History Month for us to talk to our young people about, particularly our young girls, about breaking the glass ceiling. We talk a lot about saving our young men and all the efforts that we do with trying to reverse the patterns that affect MBK and initiatives like that. And sometimes I think our girls get overlooked. So we are making a concerted effort to make sure that our girls also have some extraordinary role models that they will be able to hear from by way of professional development for our teachers, who will be able to share that knowledge, of course, with their students. We're also working on finishing up the mid-year Superintendent Status Report, which is a review of the district's progress with accomplishing the district goals. So we will present this to you also. We'll get it to you in advance of our next meeting because it will be a pretty lengthy report, but it's just our progress on what action steps we have taken to date to accomplish the board goals. And of course, we'll do another one at the end of the year where we'll have an opportunity to really reflect, to reflect on our board goals. And I also, as you know, we have last week we did our FAST program, and I want to share some data with you about how that program went. Dr. Baubles was able to share some information with us this morning through iReady, which is our district assessment. And it's a brief snapshot of how our children performed, what it was like for that 1 week. And this will help inform whether or not we want to expand this during the spring break for students who may need some ramp up. And when I spoke earlier about schools looking differently, there is talk at the national level and the state level about summer school and making it a mandatory option. That is not official yet. I'm just putting that out there because, again, we have to begin to look at schools differently. So that may be something coming down the pike as well. And of course, with that would have to be some funding, obviously, because I can imagine that would be an extraordinary expense for school districts across the nation and in our great state of New York in order to be able to do that. So if the government is going to look at it, I would certainly think there would be some funding that would be in place to support that, but I'll keep you posted on that. But our first attempt at looking differently at the school calendar was the FAST program, which we implemented last week for focused academic supplemental teaching. So I'm going to pass this over momentarily to Dr. Baubles so that she can share a brief presentation with you on how our FAST program went and how our children performed.
Thank you, Dr. Hamilton. Mr. McCormick, we have 3 slides for the presentation tonight. If you could bring those into view.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I thought you were sharing them. 1 second, I apologize.
Doesn't the big COVID package include money for summer school? I mean, some of the state money is supposed to be designated for summer school.
That is correct, yes.
Yeah.
If you don't have it, Rick, I can grab it.
Oh, they're right here.
Okay.
Thank you very much, and good evening to everyone. Thank you for allowing us to follow up regarding the Fast Break program. As Dr. Hamilton just mentioned, during the Mount Vernon City School District's 5-day winter recess last week, 140 grades 3 to 8 students were invited to participate into the Fast Break program. The purpose of the program was ultimately to provide targeted instruction focusing on specific reading and mathematics learning standards students have struggled with this school year. In addition to receiving teacher-led instruction, students completed iReady MyPath lessons. As evidenced on slide 2, we can transition to Mr. McCormick, an average of 71% of all completed personalized reading lessons were passed by the students. Also, as evidenced on slide 3, which we can transition to now, an average of 82% of all completed personalized mathematics lessons were passed by students. Following this spring's administration of the end-of-year iReady diagnostic assessments for both reading and mathematics, student progress will be further reviewed to determine the growth points for the students who participated in the Fast Break program last week. Also, specific to student attendance, the average for reading was 58% and the average for mathematics was 65% for the sessions that were facilitated last week by our 7 reading and 7 math teachers. We also had 2 program administrators facilitate the program. The last piece of information I wanted to share with you is that students receive 2 hours of reading instruction each day they participated, if they happen to be recommended for that type of support, and 2 hours for math if recommended for that type of support. What we put in place was the very first time, as we're all well aware, in terms of it being an initial program. And as Dr. Hamilton referenced, we're certainly considering the expansion of it for our spring recess at the end of March.
Thank you very much, Dr.
I have a quick
Baubles.
question. Dr. Baubles, was this the 58% attendance for the English, whatever, the two attendance numbers, those are based on the students who were identified as being eligible? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, of the
Great.
140 students who were recommended to participate and ultimately invited over the course of the week, 58% attended for reading and 65% attended for math.
Sounds pretty good for the first time.
Yeah, for the first time and
for a
students-
vacation week.
For a vacation week, exactly. So it was innovative, it was different. But we do know that there were parents who really had significant concerns about their students. We're hoping that it will catch on if we decide to expand this, and we'll look closer at it moving forward. But we certainly want to talk about how we can address the needs of our students and try to make up for the remnants of COVID and any regressions that our students may have experienced. I don't know the status of state testing yet. There is conversation about postponing regents again. Dr. BC, has that been confirmed? Your office generally talks to them quicker than I do, than my office would. The last conversation I had with the commissioner, they were still undecided about regents.
Okay, what the last conversation this morning I had with them was that they are planning to have regents and regular testing. It's up to the state to either modify it or push it back a little, but it must happen during 2021. There'll be no waivers.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's a yay and a boo. The good thing is, of course, any kind of measures that we get that helps us determine where our students are relative to being on grade level or exceeding grade level, and to the extent that we effectively implemented our curriculum, that data is always very useful. The downside of that, of course, is for many of our students, their level of engagement, just because they showed up on Zoom doesn't necessarily mean that they were engaged on Zoom. So their scores could reflect that they have made a dip as a result. And I think you're going to see that across the state. But nonetheless, that data is still useful as we think about planning moving forward. So that's where we are relative to that. Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Bennett Conroy,
Yes, ma'am.
are they planning on doing the 3 through 8 New York State exams?
Yes. And what happened is that even though they're saying that the district will not be accountable this year in 2021, it will be added to 2022. So whatever we do in 2021, as Dr. Hamilton said, all these little things that we are doing to get our kids back in school and getting them be prepared, it will be counted. It might not be counted in 2021, but 2022.
Is it safe to say that it will be an online exam?
That they don't know yet, because it's up to each state to come up with their right. And they haven't decided what they're going to do, whether they're going to push it back, whether they're going to modify it, because it has to be done. So I think they're just trying to gather their heads around it to say, what are we going to do? And I think they will reach out to all the different superintendents here in New York as to find out what they're going to do.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Right now, we are also working on gathering data that would prioritize teachers. County superintendents are working with their local legislators to push some initiative that helps teachers get moved up on the list for vaccinations for those of them that want to. The executive order is clear. We cannot force anyone to be vaccinated. But anyone who wants to be vaccinated should be able to have access to the vaccination. And teachers who want to be vaccinated should be, in my estimation, prioritized so that we have some measure of safety to getting people back in front of kids every day. So we are working on that as a group collectively, county superintendents, and we hope to have some answer in the next few days. But that is, yes, Trustee Munoz-Patterson.
I don't want to be the unpopular one here, but I know that we've spoken about summer school, and I will say that I found summer school to be very helpful for my son after to continue to get, support, and that would be something that I would be interested. Are we looking at providing summer school for students that would be interested in, going through to try to ensure that we don't have that drop?
Absolutely. We will absolutely be providing summer school for our students, akin to last year's program, which was very, very successful. We are even looking at expanding that. So even if the state doesn't require summer school, we will certainly be offering summer school and expanding the scope of our summer school program so that students can get caught up on any instruction that they may have lost as a result of COVID.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So just the part about opening back up, are there other schools that are already open?
Yes.
More so than hybrid and things of that nature, that that you and the other superintendents are getting a chance to at least consult and get advice from those administrators at those schools?
Absolutely, great question. And yes, there are some districts that are open. Some of the smaller communities are opening. They have phased in their younger learners, which is what I'm thinking about, frankly, is starting out with our pre-K through 1 students and then phasing in until we get them all in. But schools who have space, for instance, are bringing their students back, and smaller school districts are bringing their students back where they don't have the space limitations that some of the larger districts may have. Even in terms of classrooms, some of the newer buildings have more space in them than districts with older school buildings where the classrooms are relatively smaller, and they're not able to appropriately space at 6 feet intervals in order to bring students back. Some of the districts with newer buildings can bring them back and still honor 6 feet because the classrooms are very large. If you look at Pennington, for example, the addition in that, or part of the new addition in that building, those classrooms are considerably larger than the original wing in the building. So we have more space there than some of our older buildings. But yes, we are learning from some of those who are bringing their students back. There are some districts who have been able to get, because they're small, they've been able to get all of their teachers who wanted to get their teachers vaccinated and bring those students back. I'm also talking to superintendents who have utilized the 3-sided partitions. We've had a study conducted to determine the efficacy of using 3-sided partitions in classrooms. That's one of the safety protocols we're looking at, as well as one of our reopening provisions for reopening the district for in-person instruction.
Thank you.
And that concludes the superintendent's report for this evening.
Okay, great. Moving on to committee reports.
Trustee
Trustee
Munoz-Patterson.
I'm sorry, why aren't we doing CTE? I was getting all excited. I saw a PowerPoint. No, we're not. The other PowerPoint. That's
Are we going to use that? We had discussed, Dr. Hamilton and I had discussed doing that as a part of our roundtable discussion tonight.
Yes.
I got all excited.
We know it's at the end of the meeting, but we'll try to make it, but anyway, he did prepare some information for us, which is germane to the discussion that's been going around with some of the trades.
Yes.
And offering some of the trades to our students. So yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. I know you got really excited. Okay. Committee reports. I I have a report tonight. Well, I have a statement tonight. I have a self-report. During our last board meeting, I made a flip comment about home food delivery. We were having a discussion about getting food to certain families in the community. And I made a flip comment, and in the context of that conversation, it was both inappropriate and insensitive. So I own that. I own it. And I would just like to take this opportunity to apologize to the community. I didn't mean to offend anyone. Sometimes I let my personal frustration leach into my public service role, and I get flip, and I was flipped. So anyway, I do want to offer my apologies to anyone in the community who was offended by that. And thank you for your understanding, and we move forward. Who has a report?
I don't know if this is considered a report.
I'm sorry, I was on mute. The person that needed that food is, I just want to thank the parent liaison, Rita, for reaching out to the parent. And she's going to start getting deliveries of food effective tomorrow. So that worked out.
Is Rita going to be delivering it?
She's going to bring it like a couple of days a week. Yes.
Wow. Parent liaisons, full service. They're fantastic. That's really
Yes.
wonderful.
I want to give Rita a shout out. Thank you, Rita.
Yeah, she's great. Okay, thank you. Cynthia, turn.
I think Wanda White is.
Trustee
Wanda
White.
first.
Oh, I don't want to jump in front of anyone, but first of all, I just want to say the Mount Vernon School District, we have done a wonderful job in getting our schools ready. Mandela is completed. They're trying to get additional items for storage. Hamilton School Science Room completed. Mount Vernon High School Culinary Kitchen completed. Mount Vernon STEAM interior and exterior renovations completed. Pennington renovations completed. We're just waiting on a closing process. Thornton High School completed. Still going through a closeout procedure. Mount Vernon High School main cafeteria interior renovation completed. And the Williams Library completed. We to give ourselves and all of our people that have helped us get to this point a big round of applause, because our schools were in a lot of shame at one time. But with all these new renovations, we are making it happen for our students. So our students look good. Our buildings are going to be good, looking good. We're going to also start the BSCs. Am I correct, Mike? Shortly, so we can run through them and get some of the things that we have to get ready. But I am so happy with the things that we have done thus far in the last 5 years because of our bond. And I thank everyone.
That's great.
We're completed.
I echo that. Thank you. And thank you to Ken and Mikey and everybody who worked so hard with our contractors to get this work done. When we took this on, we weren't sure. Well,
That's right.
there was people who were sure, more sure than others. And there were some skeptics. I was one, but we, you know, I'm so proud of the work that's been done on time, on budget. We don't even have any change orders on the agenda tonight. So I'm just saying.
Because we're completed.
That's great. That's great news.
So that's my report.
Okay, Trustee Turnquest Jones, I believe you were next.
Yes. So I just wanted to give a shout out to those who are making sure that the sports are revitalizing in Mount Vernon School District. I got a chance to drive around Mount Vernon with Councilman Derek Thompson, and what we did was we got near Mount Vernon High School, and there was a lot of cars out there, and I was like, hey, they're practicing basketball. Let's go check it out. And so it was awesome. I used to be a basketball player, so I thought it was awesome how everyone had on their mask. They were 6 feet apart, those who were standing on the side being coached. And they had an area where they can go and take time out so they could take their mask off to get that fresh air. And they had the doors that's in the back of the auditorium that was open. Is it called the auditorium?
The gym.
Jim.
Okay, good. In the back of the auditorium, the gymnasium. Also, I don't know. It was open for that circulation to come through. When we first got there, they took our temperature, and we also had to sign in and stop by for like maybe 5 minutes, and that was it. So thank you so much, guys.
I'm happy that the sports are opening for the kids. I mean, especially our high school children and our seniors that need to be exposed.
Yeah. Trustee Mitchell.
Yeah, really quick. I'm gonna off Trustee White's steam. We got a lot done, but we have a lot more to go. We got a ways to go. We're still grinding along. We last meeting, it was brought to my attention, and we were looking at food services and what we're offering our students for lunch, and the grab and goes, and what's in those bags. And I made some comments, and based on just imagery that I saw, and just based on what I was hearing from parents, and we took it very seriously, Mike Policio and myself, as well as our food services people in the high school from both Whitth and Mount Vernon City School District. And we had a smorgasbord display of what is actually going into the bags, who's cooking, how they're cooking it, how they're preparing it, what they're doing to get it ready, what it looks like before it goes in the bag, and what it should look like when it's done. We're sending out cooking instructions on preparation, because this stuff, of course, has to be given out, refrigerated already.
Yeah.
But when I went in there, I mean, listen, I'm a larger person, and I like to eat food, and that's not probably, you can't see that, but they had a chicken. They had chicken. Oh, they had chicken parmesan, right? And I had to try it, and I'm shouting out, our chef up at Mount Vernon High School, who's doing all this work. I'm sorry, Mike, can you help me out? What was her name again? Our chef over there?
She's not the chef. She's the kitchen manager. Her name is Amanda Plummer.
Okay, the person who put the seasoning on the chicken.
Kimberly. Chef Kimberly.
Chef Kimberly. Make some noise. Chef Kimberly, you slayed it. I had some fried chicken that was amazing. I had some chicken parmesan that was amazing. Very well seasoned. Food was delicious. Everything was fresh. The salads were good. And we really got a top-down view, because the bottom line is we should be offering the very best to our students, regardless of where they physically are, whether they're off-site, on-site, or on vacation or not, which is why, we just recently had grab and goes even during the break, which was amazing. Even though kids were not in school, we were still offering food during the time off. So when I saw what the amount of effort and the amount of quality going into it was absolutely amazing. I feel very comfortable saying that I'm going to probably start getting some grab and goes and bring them home for my kids to have too, because it was amazing. And the other thing that we talked about, and Mike, I know we're working on this, and I know we made some real good leeway, was the online menu app and the link on the board site, which gives us the ability, our parents and district community, the ability to see what's on the menu with pictures and everything that comes along with it. Can you just briefly just recap where we stand and how our parents can get on that?
It's up and running. It's off the district website. You can put in your school location. There's a short video that was created by the business office that's amazing. We took it seriously. We visited the school. We saw what we're serving. We're making the information available, and I believe food service is in a really good place right now.
Is
great,
this
yeah.
for all grab and go?
So
They-
go
we-
is,
All
If-
grab and go are getting hot menus for lunch?
so when we do a grab and go, if it's a hot meal that we're serving in the school during the day, we serve it to we freeze it, quick IQF freeze it. We give it frozen to the student if it's like chicken parmesan, and then with instructions on how to
On
prepare.
how to heat it?
Yeah.
Because I had a few complaints about the meals, but I thought they were all cold meals, like a muffin and a
No,
cheese piece of the string cheese.
no.
No? Okay, so
So this is
Well,
really
Because-
important, Trustee Mitchell and Michael. This is really important. So I would say that Trustee Mitchell, your opinion has changed.
Yes, it has. It has. Well, again, it wasn't my opinion. Keep in mind, we're
Well,
all
it was
about
your
sharing.
concern, your
We're sharing-
concern.
Yes,
Listen.
my concern level is in a better place, and all we're doing is sharing communication between what I hear on the street. If I hear it in the street, I'm going to bring it to the meet, and we're
Yep.
going to talk about it. And
okay.
I feel a lot better. And
Great.
again, bouncing off of Trustee White, completed the Culinary Kitchen. I got a crash course glimpse at the Culinary Kitchen. It is amazing, absolutely amazing. I sat there and Mike gave me an incredible a crash course walkthrough, and I was absolutely floored. You can really see that it was worth the wait, it was worth the dollars, it was worth the blood, sweat, and the tears. And I can't wait for our students, especially to see it as they embark on their culinary education when they, as they decide to step foot in that room, in that classroom. It's going to be amazing.
Wow.
And before we move on, Madam President, I just want to take an opportunity to give a shout out to the Neighborhood Health Center. They have been testing our athletes for us to get them back in their sports programs. So these partnerships that the district is able to facilitate, particularly through the Office of School Improvement, has been a tremendous help with helping us resume some normalcy, particularly with onboarding the sports again.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I saw the article on the website about that. I think there was an article on the website about that. Okay.
Yes, yes.
All right. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to add before we move to the next item on the Trustee McOwen?
Hey everyone, I just want to plug the Traphagen Book Fair, which started yesterday and is going on all this week and next week. Last year was the most successful one in the school's history, and this year is going to be even better. There's a huge book fair going on, set up in the gym at Traphagen. Anyone can go and check it out. The hours are, it's Thursday 9 to 5, Friday 9 to noon, and 4 to 7. We're even doing it this year on Saturday. So Saturday 9 to 2. You can come on Saturday. And next week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Monday 9 to noon, Tuesday 9 to 5, Thursday 9 to noon. And next Friday, again, we're going to try and do it all day and even stay open late into the evening to wrap things up. But it's a great opportunity to come support, obviously, Traphagen, but also get access to a bunch of great materials.
Are these books for all ages, Trustee McOwen?
We have everything from board books into kind of middle school era. So it's made for K to 8 for sure.
Great.
Pre-K to 8.
Thank you.
We will, Madam President, if I may, just to get back to the vaccines, we will continue to update our website. This information, literally, I got the message about the call that started at 5 o'clock. I got the message at 5:03. So I jumped on the call. The call ended around 5:45. So this is information hot off the presses as I know and understand it. If it morphs or changes, and there are limitations that may come out later that was not discussed. So I'm sharing with you publicly, as I understood this information during the 40-minute call that I was on, that there are no predetermining conditions or comorbidities that you need to have in order to be eligible for this test. But start your calls tomorrow morning.
You mean the vaccine?
The vaccine, I'm sorry, yes, thank you for that. Start your calls tomorrow morning if you want it. If it turns out that it's misinformation, I'll take it back to the folks who I was on the call with. But there, to my knowledge, are no limitations on that. I actually just text the mayor, who was also on that call, to make sure that she has the same understanding that I have. And if that should change, I will update you.
Great. Great. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to share? Trustee Saunders?
I'm sorry, I had my thing on mute. Dr. Hamilton, this is the armory that's located in Yonkers, correct?
That is correct. Thank you for that. Yes, thank you.
I don't know the address, but it's the Yonkers Armory.
Yes, I'll actually look that up. I did have it. Did I write that up there down? No.
2 Quincy Place.
Yep, that's it.
Where is it?
2 Quincy Place.
Quincy Place? Okay.
Yes.
Also, I signed up for the Williams PTA. I'm a member of the Williams PTA. I think I paid $10.85. So I don't know if any of the other schools have PTAs, but it'd be nice to sign up and donate something and give your time to the PTA.
Yes, the PTA is definitely interested, and there has been an increase, by the way, since their their December meeting. They did see a big jump in membership. So thank everyone who heard my plea to increase membership. It would be great to have 100% of our board trustees and administration be on a PTA. They've asked me to join every one of them, so I will do that. So please, thank you for pushing that, Trustee Saunders.
Someone sent me the link, but if I get the link to the other ones, I'll go on, or I'll just go on the website and join some more.
Yeah, it's absolutely critical to join the PTA for everyone. And you don't have to be a parent or a grandparent of a kid in the school. Anyone in the community can join any PTA. And obviously we need help, our PTAs need help with volunteers and activities, but they also need just members because it's funding, and it also ties to, larger funding capacities, but it only works if you can show that you have a functioning PTA with a lot of members. So yeah, we really need members. Every school in the district needs more PTA members.
And are we doing, Dr. Hamilton, are we doing a virtual fundraiser this year for the PTA scholarship?
Yes, they are. That information should be coming out soon. The PTA council is working on that. Yes.
Great. Okay, that's a favorite.
No dance?
No dance this year.
Have to dance in your living room.
Everything is done in your living room now.
It's getting old, isn't it? It's getting old. You could dance in the street.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Martha and the Vandellas.
I want to say something, and this is not related to the school district, but I want to give kudos to Cynthia. She has been giving books away to students for months now. I mean, she did Cutie, she does Yonkers. She gives these books away for free. And I just wanted to the Mount Vernon Library, Cynthia, if I was well enough, I'm well enough, but I would join your team because I appreciate you that you're trying to get a book in each kid's hand. And my grandchildren are 1 and 12, so we don't even come into the category. But I just want to say that our trustees are working outside of our school district, and I want to thank you.
Thank you.
I definitely second that. My daughter came home with a book that she insisted I read 4 times to her that night. And that was from Cynthia. So
right.
it was, it meant everything to her.
That's great. That's great. Thank you. Okay. So we're going to be going into executive session. I need a motion to go in executive session.
Motion.
For the reasons.
We'll be entering executive session this evening to discuss the employment history of a particular person or persons.
How long?
About an hour.
Do I have a second, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? All right, we'll be back around 8:15,
Okay.
give or take. Thank you. I need a
You're
motion to
alive.
go back into public session.
Motion
This is a,
and second.
this is an
All
easy.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great. So now we're going on to the agenda, to business at hand, little levity. So may I have a motion to approve Human Resources Resolution 5.1? One.
Second.
Any questions about Resolution 5.1? We're all good? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? All right, motion carries. May I have a motion to approve HR Resolution 5.2?
Motion.
Second.
Mo-
Any questions as we discussed this just now recently?
Yes, now.
Yep. Okay, if there are no questions, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Okay. Motion carries. I have a motion to approve HR Resolution 5.3.
Motion.
Motion. Second.
Any questions?
I need to bring these up.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. May I have a resolution to approve business office, a motion to approve business office resolution 6.1?
Motion.
Second.
Any comments? I want to comment and say it's so nice not to have change orders. Anyway, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Okay, motion carries. May I have a motion to approve Student Services Memorandum 8.1?
Motion.
Any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Did I get an aye from everybody? Okay, motion carries. May I have a motion to approve Superintendent Resolution 10.1?
Motion.
Second.
I think that's the one I'm abstaining.
I think we passed that one, Wanda.
Pass that one, actually, Wanda. I'm sorry. I should have called your attention to it.
Because I was trying to find it on get my phone up so I can see it.
I'm sorry, Trustee White.
That was 5.2.
Trustee
White,
White, 5.2, I think, Wanda.
Okay, never mind. Go on.
Okay. Any further questions on this 10.1?
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Okay, so we're gonna spend, what time is your show on, Wanda?
don't. Please don't embarrass me.
Already.
Anyway, sorry. Okay, so we've been having there was a robust discussion. There's been some articles lately, one that Trustee McGowan brought to our attention. I saw a segment on the PBS NewsHour, which is about electricians and plumbing and getting internships and how much money, like people get paid to get trained. So, and we've been talking about this for as long as I've been on the board about evaluating an opportunity to evaluate additional trades and trades that we could train and teach in our CTE, under our CTE umbrella. So I think there was enough enthusiasm and excitement about it. And I know Melissa wants to talk about it all night. Yay. So I don't know, Ken, do you want to go through your presentation first about where we are?
Sure. I think, first of all, I love the fact that there was this robust discussion and sharing of information that is exciting and related to what we really should be spending more time talking about, and that's teaching and learning. So it was great that this synergy was around that topic. So what I did just to help frame the conversation and create a backdrop was ask the team to begin to work on just sharing with the board where we are relative to our CTE program, what we currently have in our course offerings for vocational and technical options for our students, and then under that umbrella to talk about the board's desire to expand that. So Dr. Baubles and Dr. Smith worked together and went through the course catalog for me today. And who's going to take the lead on this?
I'd be happy to, Dr. Hamilton.
Okay, very well.
Start
Rick, can
us
you
off?
give, there you go. Good, perfecto.
Thank you, Mr. McCormick, and good evening to everyone again. Tonight, Dr. Smith and I are going to present an overview of our vocational program offerings within the course catalog at Mount Vernon High School. Next slide, please. What we wanted to do is focus everyone's attention on certain keywords that are listed within the 4 bullets on this particular slide, beginning with the academic and career options being central to our focus in terms of offerings that we presently have for our students at the Mount Vernon High School. In addition, as you look at bullet 2, certainly technical skills that are presented with respect to the coursework that students partake in have to absolutely meet the industry standards for whichever trade in particular that we're speaking to, or other experiences students might avail themselves of. In looking at the 3rd bullet, please key in on hands-on learning that's integral to the coursework that students would be partaking in. And the last bullet there is also equally as integral with respect to our goals for programming, which is to establish connections between classroom instruction and the application of practical knowledge and skills in conjunction with solving real-world problems. Next slide, please. We also wanted to draw out the interconnectedness of what you see in those puzzle pieces on the bottom of this slide in terms of 3 key components for career readiness, all of which are very much integrated with one another or interrelated. Academic skills, employability skills, and certainly technical skills. Again, all directly connected to the preceding slide's goals. Next slide, please. With respect to our offerings now in the way of electives that reflect vocational programming, you'll see them listed here, beginning with automotive technology and running all the way through to and including the WorkBased Learning program, or WBL, that you see in the last bullet on this specific slide. What's interesting about the WBL is that we presently have 12 local nonprofits and businesses providing work opportunities for Mount Vernon students. And also you'll notice in the 4th bullet, in parentheses, you'll hear Dr. Smith and I reference CNA. That's the Certified Nursing Assistant opportunities for students. Next slide. We wanted to also draw to your attention a key period of time, which you see on the left is 2016-2017 CTE offerings, side by side with the 2017-2018 CTE offerings. In particular, just draw your attention for a moment to what you see highlighted in red. I understand that the text is relatively small, but we wanted to point this out to you because what's listed in red was added in 2016-2017, and among what you see that has been added, these are some of our very popular programs in terms of present student enrollment, which Dr. Smith will share very clearly with you in one of the later slides tonight. Barbering 1 and 2, Careers in Health, CNA, Culinary Arts 1 and 2. Next slide, please. Dr. Hamilton had referenced in his introductory comments for the presentation our present course catalog. So for 2021-2022, we are planning, as long as enrollment will allow for it, as well as staffing, to provide these options to students in terms of courses, which is a pretty robust list. Again, just as we noted in the preceding slide, what you see in red, beginning with World of Work, references courses that would be new to students for next year. And again, we'll have to gauge student interest to have a sense as to whether or not we have enough enrollment to actually run the courses. But you'll see several listed there. World of Work, Emergency Medical Technician or EMT, Medical Terminology, Fashion Design and Merchandising, Hospital Service or Hospitality Service rather, Retail Industry, Basic Skills and Safety, Culinary, Gourmet Cooking, and Personal Training. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Dr. Bobbles. I'll take it from here. This is the history of vocational courses at Mount Vernon High School. The pie chart reveals that many of our students take integrated office applications. This course is offered at Mount Vernon High School, Denzel Washington School for the Arts, as well as Benjamin Turner Middle School. You will see automotive tech is also popular with our students, followed by cosmetology. This chart began again in 2009. Next slide, please. Okay, so we took a look from 2009 to this current year. I just want you to know that vocational course offerings was offered before that, but this is the period that we looked at. So in 2000 and this year, accounting was reintroduced to Mount Vernon High School, and you'll see 22 students are enrolled in the accounting course. Culinary arts returned to Mount Vernon High School in 2016, and I'm saying returned because it previously was offered. This year, 160 students are enrolled in the culinary arts, and it is one of the more popular courses. Vocational enrollment this year is 1,186 students. Since 2009, the vocational enrollment has been 10,964. 10,964 students taking courses, and that's between 2009 and 2021. The CDOS, next slide, please. Career Development and Occupational Studies, CDOS, and this is from 2017 to 2018. At that time, 20 students received this credential. CDOS is a credential program for high school students, and they can receive this credential in addition to obtaining a high school diploma. This credential basically say that they've had some experience in a particular area, and as a result, it gives them a certificate that they could take to a job and present to them that I participated in cosmetology, or I participated in auto, and it's helpful to them. As you could see, in 2017-18, it was 20 students received this, 28 in 2018-2019, 29 in 2019-2020, and we're projected to have 15 students, and this is due to COVID.
Yeah.
Next slide, please. So the areas that students receive the CDOS credentials beginning in the year 2017-2018 school year are listed here. I won't read all of them for you, but as you could see, this year, again, we're projected that 15 students will receive the CDOS in the areas of CNA and cosmetology. The last slide.
And CNA is the certified nursing assistant.
Right, and the reason we didn't have any students listed in 18-19 was because of the teacher.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay, because I mean, to me, that's a great area for jobs. Nurses, we need nurses.
Yes.
Okay.
So I just wanted to use this opportunity to pitch the grand reopening. And please join Chef Kaham Kaham and the culinary students. Dr. Hamilton, did you want to give a hint of what you'll be cooking up for?
Listen, so I got lassoed into cooking. I am, you know, I am not afraid of I'm not camera shy. I usually don't get nervous about doing things publicly. I am so nervous about this that I can't even begin to tell. I want to set a good example for kids, and I want it to be enjoyable. So
Better taste good.
I am really just flying blindly and trusting the folks who have put this together to just guide me through. But we will be having a very nice menu that we are offering that has been customized. Students had an opportunity to participate in the planning of the menu. The shopping is done, and I hope you will make it. But the menu includes pecan fried chicken. This is our culminating soul food event for Black History Month as a tribute to Black history and all the socialization that happens around food and the kitchen and the historical significance of family-oriented activities around Black History Month. So we will be having pecan fried chicken, candied yams, homemade rolls, macaroni and cheese, collard, just a traditional soul food culminating event. And I'm nervous as I don't know what.
Lobster mac and cheese, lobster mac and cheese.
Yes, we're doing it all.
So that's this Thursday, February 25th, 5:30 to 7:30.
Yes.
And you could RSVP by February 19, which has passed. So Dr. Gail White-Wallace, can people still get in touch with you?
Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
We are so excited to have the grand opening of the Culinary Arts Department. The teacher, Ms. Cohen, has been working arduously, and a special thank you to her. And before I answer that question, I want to say a special heartfelt thank you to Michael Policio, who went shopping in Restaurant Depot with two crazy women today for 3 hours.
You one of them?
All the food and the items, driving, pushing, picking up boxes. So I want a special shout out to Mr. Policio, my pudding. And Dr. Ham, you got this, boo. We gonna show up how your grandma showed you. Put it down with the K Ham spin on it. So please, at 5:30, tune in to our Facebook Live. Everybody can see and view this culinary demonstration from our superintendent on Facebook Live, as well as we will have a private link for those who cannot make it. We have very limited seats as far as RSVPs. We are in a pandemic, we are practicing social distancing and a lot of precautions. So that's my answer to that question.
Thank you. So the reason I wanted to put together this overview for you on our offerings is so that as we look about the expansion, we look at enrollment. And I think we have to make a decision as we offer additional trades to our students. We could effectively water down enrollment in some other programs. And we may look at adding other programs on and dismantling other programs that may be under-enrolled, just so that we don't have so many options available to students. We're operating with 4, 5, 10 kids in a class. But I think the opportunity is a tremendous one, but we need to have the framework. I'm gonna send this to you, so you'll have it this weekend as well, that you can digest it more intimately, since you're just saying it. Kudos, thank you ladies for putting this together. We
Thank
just
you.
started working on this today, as a matter of fact, to pull this together for our conversation tonight. So thank you ladies for working so diligently on that.
Thank you, that was great.
A heck of a presentation to pull together in 24 hours.
Yes.
Very well.
Less than 24 hours, I think.
Trustee White?
Yes, I just want to say the presentation was nice. I enjoyed it. But I have been working with the budget committee for a few years during my terms. And we have found that we have one room at the high school that needs to be cleaned out because all the materials are outdated. And that one room could be divided into two rooms or a combination of. So I think your presentation was nice, but we got to get on board and start offering some serious, get some money first. I understand we need money, but to get the ball rolling as far, because I think plumbing, I had a plumbing come to my house. He had to do one screw, $110. Get our kids to make that kind of money.
Yes. No opposition here.
You know?
No opposition here.
Yeah.
So,
I think what we were going to do was start a discussion about the committee. I think Mr. Micah was going to start a committee, and maybe we could start a committee. We can see what the kids want. I think that was thrown out.
Well, we had asked for that from the high school to send us a list of what the kids want. But that first thing, we have to clean that room out. And I know
Mr. Policio, you want to talk about that room?
Should I just say something? I just wanted to say something real quick. A lot of times we have college and career fairs, and in the college and career fairs, they seldomly invite like the local 3 men who are your electricians. They do not invite individuals who are plumbers. And so I think that there should be, it's just a suggestion that is also added, or maybe even a separate fair, because it's some really good money.
I agree.
Yeah.
Dr. Hamilton, most of all, if we brought in, like, I know one time we were talking about Liberty's, is it Liberty?
Oh, Lincoln Tech. Lincoln Tech.
But they had to be teachers, right?
That's correct.
They had to first be teachers to get involved. Is there any way we can get around that, like after school programs?
I think that absolutely is an option. We just brainstormed a little bit this morning about the opportunity to perhaps have students work on a culminating project, building another house in the back of the one that exists now. Where they would have the opportunity to apply the plumbing and technical, electrical technical skills that they acquire. But I think that the committee is the appropriate way to further the conversation. And then to do that on the framework of this information that's just provided to the board this evening. This room, we do have some outdated equipment in that room that has become a storage room, for lack of a better word, and some of that stuff really needs to be disposed of appropriately. But I think it's a great discussion to have, and I think we should proceed and look at cost factors associated with that, enrollment factors, and then look how we can introduce some of these trades. Trustee Turnquist Jones, I think that's a great idea, frankly. I was looking at something on television last night, I think it was, and they were talking about trades in particular. And it was just apropos because I knew this conversation was forthcoming, and how the pathway to success is coming full circle, where more and more people are leaving high school and starting their own businesses in the trades and making very, very good money doing it. There's some skills you'll always need, whether you go to college or not. You'll need to know how to do a cost benefit analysis. You'll need to know how to engage people. You'll need to know how to interpret contracts. You need to know employment law and all those other sorts of things. But there are some students who are magnificent with working with their hands and could be very successful with doing that. So I like this opportunity. I like this conversation. I just think we need to frame it so that it makes most sense for next steps.
Great. To be fair, I mean, many of us have talked about this for years. I remember, like, I think it was the first month I was ever a trustee. I ran into like the local Westchester Habitat for Humanity head and had a long talk about getting high school students involved with Habitat for Humanity. So I know that the interest has been there for a long time. I think the district and the high school in particular had a lot of pressing things that needed addressed over the last few years. We've had major projects, right? We had to completely renovate the pool. We did work at the greenhouse. We've just wrapped up the culinary area, which has been years in working. So it's not that the interest hasn't been here, but I do think now is the great time that we're wrapping up a major project at the high school to really make this a very much a focus. And the way it was framed with the presentation is perfect. I know we already have a great program, and it was great to show us and the public how many different course offerings there already are and programs that are already working, which is great. But the big hole that I think we all agree that is there and needs to be filled somehow is the trades. It's and the other thing I want to say is I don't think the goal of this is to recreate wheels, right? There are already some good VOTEC programs in the county, and there are already there are lots of contractors we could partner with. So the goal of this committee is not to build an electrician school from scratch or something, or a plumbing school from scratch. The goal here with the committee would be to find out, okay, what are the existing training opportunities, the existing contractors and companies that we can partner with as a school district, and how do we funnel these kids into these good jobs, right? How do we make it easy as possible for someone to start thinking as a freshman and finish thinking as a senior, to get in the mindset of career, right? And to start thinking that way earlier rather than, you graduate and what am I going to do? The earlier you start that process, that's not to lock everybody in, but to have the opportunity there so people know, hey, you can make a killer amount of money right out of high school if you play your cards right and put in the legwork during high school. You can get a huge jump start on a lot of your friends by putting in that work. And we just need to find the right opportunities. And I know there's two issues that have always come up when we've talked about this casually. One is the credentials issue, which is, giving, we can't just have contractors coming off the street and be teachers, right? A contractor is not a teacher, it's a different thing. So we have to find the right framework of how we use district money, right, to partner with contractors to get the training done in the right way. And maybe that's an accreditation issue process. Maybe it's just a partnership after school type program. That's a legal and logistical thing we have to figure out. Right. And the second thing, which is related, is insurance. Right. Is if you do these kind of partnerships, then you got to figure out who's, is it district insurance, is it company insurance? That issue is another issue. These are small things that need to be worked out, but I'm excited. I'm glad there's still a lot of interest in doing this. I think this is a great time to really push this forward. And then once we have the framework built, then we know, okay, which rooms do we need to use? What equipment do we use? Are we using our own district equipment, or as a contractor we're partnering with? Are they supplying the equipment, right? We have to figure that stuff out, but we can build the framework and go from there.
So Micah, by you saying we, are you going to take charge of this committee? Are you going to be the chair?
Yeah, I'm willing to be chair of this committee to specifically look at adding the trades to the CT offerings at the high school.
Great.
And I'm willing to work with you and the other committee that's already established.
Okay, awesome. And administrative appointees to work with this will be Dr. Baubles and Mr. Policio and Dr. Gorman will be the administrative designees to look at that. And we probably need BC in there too, only from the perspective of navigating any structures from the state perspective and credentialing and certification of our programs, because in order for students to get appropriate credits, our programs have to be certified through the state as well.
That's right. That's what I was alluding to. Exactly.
Great, sounds like.
I'd like to be involved as well. But the other thing, and I make this joke often, and it's not really a joke because it's true. The only person I know that has a house on the Hamptons is my plumber, and that is legitimate. I do not make that up at all. But the other thing that we were talking about, and I think that's something that maybe the budget committee can start working on too, is we need to find the funds to update the room, because that room in particular is like somebody literally barred the door in like 1997 or whatever it is. They like barred the door, and you go through like the calendars are all on the same dates. It's really kind of like freaky. But so that room will have to be updated in its entirety, right, Adrian?
Yeah.
I think
We went
like
through
the whole thing.
It was dated from the 80s, I think,
That would be a good.
It was.
That would be a good little capital project to get state aid on.
Oh, there you go. So that's something we should look at too. So we can get, and I think the number I heard at some point, depending on what type of machinery we need in that room, we could be looking at a very high tech exhaust system.
Yes.
Which could be another, again, in, school construction land, it could be like another $1 million. So just something for everyone to keep in the back of their mind.
So Madam President, if I may, just so that we have some clear steps, as the board president, you are appointing an ad hoc committee.
Yes.
That will look at the expansion of our VOTEC offerings at the high school, and the membership will consist of the following trustees: McOwen, Munoz Patterson, White, and Saunders, Dr. Baubles, Dr. Gorman, Dr. BC, and Michael Policio.
Right.
Got it.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And
Thank you.
And I really think that if we're creative, we can come up with some very, very good and not super expensive ways to at least prepare our students for apprenticeships, right? Which they can do after school. So yeah, I think it's fantastic. I think it's great. So is everybody good with that? Mike,
Yes.
You can organize the first meeting, and then we can, which I guess will be by Zoom, and then we can, you will report to us, and we look forward to moving forward. Trustee Patterson.
Just a question about meetings going forward. If we're telling people that we're recalling all students to buildings, I'm assuming at some point we will be leaving the Zoom universe and going back into person?
I think we should definitely have a plan for that. I know that's a board decision in terms of how you handle your meetings, but just in terms of consistency with the plans to reopen, I think there has to be, in my estimation, a process that so what's different? If we say, all right, we're going to start doing in person tomorrow, what are we doing differently that makes it safer tomorrow than it is today? So I think those are the things that we have to think about. Even as we look at vaccinations for trustees, those of you who may be interested in being vaccinated, I think that is a step in the direction of being open. And the same thing about our teachers and our administrators. The more people we get vaccinated, the greater our chances are on mitigating the spread of COVID and creating safety. So I think that's a great conversation to have. I would just encourage the board to think in terms of marrying in-person meetings with our transition back to school. And maybe the trustees start first. I don't know. We can talk about that.
Yeah, we certainly can. We certainly can. Good point, trustee Patterson. Okay, are we ready to adjourn?
Motion?
Yes.
How do you really feel?
I'm gonna miss y'all.
Yeah, I know. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thanks,
Aye.
everybody. Great meeting. Thank you.
Great
Mr.
meeting.
Mayor.
Good night, all.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.